Hello everybody, this is Dr. Cole. It's Saturday afternoon, June 25th, and we're now entering week 7 of Humanities 2333 for the summer term. Everyone, this is supposed to be a 7-week term. Next weekend we'll be in the final exam period. I expect I will get out a short message, which we'll call the week 8 message, even though it's a 7-week term, that I will try to get out next weekend, just to very briefly to bring things to a close. Everyone, what we have remaining is the second written assignment and the final exam. The second written assignment is due Monday. I'm speaking to you Saturday, it's due Monday. I believe some students have already submitted it. I'll be downloading the papers early Tuesday and trying to go through them over the course of that day. If you are still working on your paper, let me just say this, the assignment was written in an open-ended way. These assignments have tend to be quite biographical, which is fine, but you'll have a better paper if you also make it philosophical. That is, try to tie it in some way, shape, or form to the material we have been studying, rather than just giving biographical information about yourself, which is the way some of these assignments have ended up. So just keep that thought in the back of your mind if you are still working on that over the weekend. Everyone, this weekend or Monday, I expect I'll get an announcement out about the final exam, which I'm planning for Saturday and Sunday, July 2nd and 3rd. I believe either the 3rd or the 4th is on the syllabus as the last day of class. The 4th is, of course, a holiday. Grades are due at the end of the business day, Wednesday, July 6th. So we're looking at July 2nd and 3rd. The material will be, by and large, the class notes for units 9 through 16. Please be sure you also looked at the Scott Peck material. Okay. People did better than average on the midterm this term. If you did okay on the midterm, you should do at least that well on the final. I don't think the material is quite so technical and complicated as what we were looking at for the midterm exam. The format will be about the same, 50 true, false, and multiple choice questions over 45 minutes. And you may take it anytime in that 48-hour window on the 2nd and 3rd, Saturday and Sunday, July 2nd and 3rd. Some people have not taken the midterm. I think I got a message out to those people. I'd be happy to have you make it up. Please contact me. It's not absolutely necessary, as long as you make sure that you take the final exam, which everyone needs to take in any case, because that grade cannot be dropped, and turn in the second written assignment. As long as you've done that and the first written assignment and at least 2 of the discussions, okay, you should be fine, because everyone gets at least 1 drop grade, well, 1 drop grade only, before the final exam. The final exam counts for everybody. Everyone must take it. But if you need to take the midterm exam, contact me and I'd be happy to open it up for you anytime between now and the final. Now everybody, as for what we have on the syllabus for this week, units 15 and 16. In unit 15, well, we are approaching the end of the course, so I felt that at the end of the course, it would be appropriate for us to discuss the end. That is our mortality, which all of us face. Now there are several questions and themes that I take up with regard to the issue of mortality in those notes, based on largely upon the contributions of philosopher John Martin Fisher and his book, Death, Immortality, and Meaning in Life. Some of the issues that we discuss. Is death a harm to the deceased? Oh, you might think, obviously it is, but philosophers have raised the issue. Well, the deceased is no longer around to suffer the harm. So is death really a harm to the person who has died? And the argument perhaps might be that it's a harm in terms of perhaps opportunities lost. But in any case, that's a question that has preoccupied some philosophers. Would immortality be desirable? Would it be desirable to extend our lifespan to 150 or 200 years, or perhaps indefinitely? Way back in the day as a teaching assistant in a philosophy course, I raised this question with students, one of whom might immediately piped up, in what condition would you live for hundreds of years or perhaps indefinitely? It might or might surprise you to know that there are philosophers who believe immortality would be a good thing and others who don't believe it would be. So perhaps who believe perhaps we need the impetus of impending mortality perhaps to get anything done in life. What is the significance of near-death experiences, the experiences that some people have reported when they were near death or were perhaps resuscitated, in many cases which suggest to them the possibility of immortality or life after death in another world, on another dimension of reality, as so many of our religious traditions promise. Mr. Fisher is a naturalist and is not a theist, and so he does not accept that. He does not, however, dismiss the significance of near-death experiences. Okay, so in the class notes, you'll see what he has to say about these things. What about what should death be like? What would or would not be a good death? It may be the case for many of us these days that we will not get to enjoy a good death, which you might think would require being surrounded by friends and family in your last days. Some will get to experience that, others not. So of what would a good death consist? All right, then in the last unit, Unit 16, we have worldviews and philosophies of life. Now, with regard to worldviews, the main issue is whether you are going to be a theist or not. And the main alternative would be a philosophical naturalist. So, are you a theist or a naturalist? And we also discuss the concepts of transcendentalism and humanism, which may be variations on one or the other of those two worldviews. Then we talk about philosophies of life as well as worldviews. And one thing I found out preparing this material, philosophers, some of them at least, have something very specific that they mean by philosophy of life, which is the issue of whether or not you ought to be a nihilist. Now, a nihilist, or someone who believes in nihilism, or nihilism, some people pronounce it, would be someone who believes that there's nothing that really can render your life meaningful. Now, that's a stance that frightens many people. Very often, it is associated with a non-theistic or anti-theistic worldview. Why would someone be a nihilist? Well, the reason for that, a philosopher might be a nihilist if he thinks that all the alternatives, all the proposals for making life meaningful are not credible. So if you think there's no credible way to make life meaningful, then you would perhaps be compelled to be a nihilist. The alternative would be some sort of purpose that gives your life meaning. And you could understand that in a theistic or a naturalistic way. And we venture or propose many different understandings of the type of purpose that could conceivably render your life meaningful. But be aware there are going to be people who insist that no such thing really is credible, and they will be considered philosophical nihilists. Right, so that's what we mean by the issue of philosophy of life. Should you or should you not be a nihilist? And that is pretty much it for the summer term, for the first 7 weeks of 2022. Once again, we'll try to get a very brief message out next weekend. The second written assignment is due Monday the 27th. The final exam, and we'll get an announcement out about it, will be Saturday and Sunday, July 2nd and 3rd. 50 items over units 9 through 16. Okay. Please contact me through the website or at david.cole@opsu.edu in case of any problems, questions, issues that come up. I think that everybody is going to get through this pretty successfully with a decent grade, the way it looks at this time. If there's any work you need to make up, especially those who have not taken the midterm exam, if you would like to make that up, please contact me. Good luck then on your assignment and on your final exam, and we'll be talking to you once again very briefly before we sign off about a week from now at this time.